So what is God's most despised sin?
That's very easy to answer. So listen up now. So the one sin that God seems to never be able to forgive is delusion. God doesn't like delusion. And we can see this play out in the divine experiments that God did in the Bible and in the Quran. So usually when psychologists want to um, find out how human beings act in a particular situation, they will usually have two groups. They will have a control group and the group that they're going to perform the experiment on. So what the psychologists would do is they would make sure that people are not aware of the real test, of the real psychological test. Because if they were aware, then that might change their behavior. What they want to do is catch a human being at their neutral state. So they might give them an experiment that says that okay, you should do this. But what they're really measuring is something different. Then in the control group, they might just tweak some aspects of that experiment so as to be able to compare the control group and the one that um, they tested the experiment on together. And with that, at least they'll be able to have a much more nuanced conclusion as to what they were looking for. So God was the first being to do something like this, or at least the God that Yahweh believed in. Uh, and what he did was he wanted to know, he wanted to cast out derision from paradise, and he wanted to know who among his angels had a disease of derision. So what do you do? He said, "Okay, I want all of you to bow to man." Now, you could easily just say that okay, that was unfair because these are angels. They are a million times more powerful than men, and Satan, Shaitan, he helped create human beings, and now God is asking him to bow to human beings. But that wasn't what God wanted to. That really wasn't the intention. The main reason why God did that was to catch his angels off guard. So who dare disobey him? One, and who dare you know express this disease of delusion? Look down, look down. The Yorubas would say "afojudi," to just sort of put a person in a box, to limit a person. Who dares does that except for me and God? And Satan was the one. He said, I couldn't bow to this being that you created, that I helped create. I'm not going to do this. I'd rather leave this place than bow to this this piece of clay, of mud. And then God got his answer. So it wasn't about bowing down to human being. It was okay. You have unchecked pride. You have unchecked pride, and I'm the only being that should be prideful here because I'm good. And you don't have right to be prideful. You are nothing. So leave. You and human beings and man and all, you are all nothing. You are all nothing. You have nothing to be proud. You have to just leave. So he chased him out. Now this is a topic that is somewhat personal to me because when I was growing up too, I felt that way too. Uh, I felt like my siblings were like who was I? Like why was I staying alone in my room? Do I think I'm better than they are? And I felt like they expressed their vision towards me, and yeah, and it was something. But over time, I've come to understand, like it's at the end of it, it's human nature. It's